Hi guys. So this video will just walk you through your second essay assignment. You guys read a number of texts this week from different modernist authors, different styles, different genres, and we're going to compare two works from two different authors as read in this unit for this literary analysis essay. So what I want you guys to do is choose two different authors, as I said, from the unit, compare and contrast their works as read in the unit, so they have to be works from this unit, in terms of literary analysis. So if it's someone who authored, say, multiple poems, I want you to choose only one poem from each author to discuss. So you guys can choose poems which seem to naturally fit together, or you can compare two sort of unexpected pairings if you like. You just need to show how they're similar and different in terms of literary elements primarily, and then secondarily look at that historical or biographical context again. So you have to choose, include at least one research source in your essay. It has to be cited correctly, of course, and included in a separate bibliography. And your essay needs to be 1.5 to 2 pages in length at minimum. It's due Sunday, July 19th at 11:59 p.m. Remember that everything is checked through SafeAssign and that you must meet that minimum page length. So at least 1.5 pages minimum. Anything less will have points taken off, and use proper citation, of course. So these are the authors that we read in this unit: Robert Frost, Hemingway, Fitzgerald, Claude McKay, and Langston Hughes. The choice of topic and literary work is yours, so choose carefully. You'll just need to discuss those works in depth using your knowledge not only of the era, but of the terminology associated with the literary analysis for each of these authors. You'll also need to pull in, again, as always, good, solid evidence in the form of quotes from the text and your source or sources to help support. Some questions you can think about: how do the works connect in terms of theme or other major literary elements? So again, this is kind of the Lost Generation, this is The Outsider, this is the Harlem Renaissance. There's a lot of different things happening that you could think about in terms of theme and how to connect them, or other major literary elements. So again, the primary focus should be on analyzing this as a piece of literature, secondarily on historical and biographical context. Don't let this become a history essay. Don't let it become a biography. Analyze them as pieces of literature first and foremost, and then secondarily think about that historical context. So for example, you could bring together this idea of a disillusionment post-war, with Hemingway and, say, Hughes. Could be an interesting combination. You could bring in the idea of the function of dialogue into two different texts. You could bring in, certain thematic elements around isolationism, or there's a lot of different things you could kind of think about, or the economic situation post-war and how these different authors touch on that. But so think about how the structures themselves of the works are similar or different, and how does that impact meaning? So if you're comparing, say, two poems, is one free verse and one verse, or are you comparing a narrative, a short story, with a poem? How does that different structure impact meaning or messaging on behalf of the author? And then look at the historical biographical elements, secondarily. So how do the differences between their backgrounds impact the social, political, or economic framework surrounding the works? Or similarities as well. Could you draw similarities between different authors like this? You're going to be assessed on making sure that a fully developed argumentative thesis statement into your introduction, good close analysis of the work and their major concepts, good evidence to support your claims from the primary and secondary sources, proper page length, MLA, and proper number of sources and citations, a fully developed essay structure, of course, with the intro and thesis, clear main ideas and evidence, and a conclusion, and then a good thematic organization of ideas. Now, this is important when you are comparing works, comparing and contrasting. What you don't want to do is have a separate paragraph per author. So I don't want to have, say, if I'm doing Hemingway and Hughes, I don't want to have one paragraph for Hemingway and another paragraph for Langston Hughes, and then one for Hemingway and another for Hughes. I want to compare them thematically across concepts. So say I wanted to do the idea of the theme of disillusionment. I would show how Hemingway shows disillusionment and how Hughes shows disillusionment in their specific texts. And then I would move to the next main idea and say my next main idea was the function of symbolism in the works. I would discuss how Hemingway and Hughes both use symbolism to do X, Y, or Z. So again, the structure, this is a sort of advanced argumentative structure where you bring the authors together across concepts rather than have a separate paragraph for each person. So let me know if you guys have questions on this. I want you guys to, have a little fun with it. Think of creative ways to kind of connect these different authors, whether through similarities or differences, these different works. There's so much to talk about. You could talk about structure. You could talk about literary elements. You could talk about the biographical elements, of course, too. But let me know if you have any questions, and I'm really looking forward to reading these ones from you guys. Thanks.